Hello, and welcome to another eye-opening episode of Furries in the Media, the series that reviews videos and other media based on how the furry fandom is represented. So Abergwine, what are we reviewing today? Well, Sam, today we're going to take a look at 2 episodes from the podcast My Brother, and Me. It's a comedy podcast hosted by brothers Justin, Travis, and Griffin McElroy. I haven't listened to every last one of their episodes because they have quite the backlog, but one of the things that they do in every episode is that they react to weird questions that people post on Yahoo Answers. Sure enough, the first episode we're going to be looking at includes a question regarding furries. You said we're going to be reviewing 2 episodes? Yes, I did. Specifically, we're going to be reviewing segments from episodes 29 and 30 of My Brother, and Me. Now, I've edited these segments down into shorter parts, and while there is a lot that I've edited out, I think you should be able to get the gist of what they're saying. I will also be giving the 2 episodes a shared review score. Why not score them separately? You'll see why. Just a content warning before we get into the review. Both of the episodes in question contain mature language and themes, but the first episode we're going to cover contains jokes about, to put it nicely, population control through extreme measures. If you want to skip over that in the first episode, skip ahead to this time code. This doesn't exactly inspire confidence. No, but episode 30 is going to be much better than episode 29. With that out of the way, let's get into it.
He asks, how do I tell my mom, dad, friends, etc. that I am a furry? I have a huge problem. I'm 13 and furry. My girlfriend is also 13 and furry. But I told my mom about it, and she told me that furry fandom is one of the, quote, most disgusting and horrific things she has ever heard, end quote. My dad's reaction was almost the same, but he took it better. Now, though, I don't know what to do. Please help. All right, in 30 years,
okay,
after the furry civil rights movement, am I going to be like the bigot?
Like the back against the wall? Like, I'm sorry, I don't care how far society has come. I refuse to recognize the rights of furries.
Ever be okay with this? There's a 0% chance of me ever being cool with this.
I would, at this point, endorse state-mandated castration for all furries. Okay.
Is that a punitive measure, or is that more of a population control? Like, you don't want them passing the furry gene, that aberration, onto their children.
It is
Might I suggest spokesman Bob Barker?
It is... It's absolutely both. It works both ways. Here's a bigger question. I think you get into probably logistics. What's the most efficient way to do it? I would suggest that all furry costumes would come, like, legally would have to come with a small patch of genital burning cream that when you put the costume on, it would just singe them away like a hair that got too close to a campfire. That's what I would like to see happen.
I can forgive someone for having misconceptions about furries. There's a ton of misinformation out there, I get it. And I can forgive someone for making jokes based on those misconceptions, but this went too far. Let's just give them a 0 and be done with it. Believe me, Sam, I kinda want to do that, but we've still got one more part to review, and it's gonna be much better than this one, I promise. The next segment we're going to review comes from episode 30 of My Brother, and Me.
Like, you look at us. Last week, we talked a lot of about furries, but to cover up the fact that we are all right now, as we record this show, wearing furry costumes.
This is true. What do you guys?
This is the itchiest show I've ever recorded.
I'm a lynx.
I'm a sexy cow.
I am an apologetic tiger because I feel bad to our furry friends.
I feel wicked bad. Like,
not like our furry friends, like forest creatures. I mean, like friends that are furry.
Here's the thing. Let's put this question on pause. We'll get back to it because we need to address this. I think that hatred comes from fear, and fear comes from a lack of understanding. I feel like
fear leads to anger.
Yeah,
anger leads to hate.
I learned so much about that community in this past week from people who sent in emails like, hey, I wish you hadn't have said that you wish I would die in a fire. Like, maybe we did jump the gun a little bit in that respect. But I guess there are people who are who enjoy like that idea of people with animal heads and fur and shit, but not like a sexy man fox just railing on a lady rabbit. Like maybe there's no sex involved in it at all. It's just like an aspect of nerd culture. But I guess like only like 5% of that community actually dresses up like animals and bones down on each other. So like I think we made some assumptions last week, and for that I'm truly sorry.
I am sorry too.
You were right, Abby. This part was so much better. Sam, I don't know if you realize this, but I think we've just been witness to something we've never seen before on Furries in the Media. Will you tell me what it is in my thoughts? Of course. Let's take a look at those review stats. Actually, you know what? Forget all that. Wait, what? They get a perfect 100%. Congratulations, my brother, and me. And now time for my Abergwine. Why did you give this a 100? Because my brother, and me did something that no other piece of media that we've covered on Furries in the Media has done when furries have been misrepresented. They acknowledged their mistake, and they apologized. Why didn't they take that episode down or something? I think they've done something much better than that. They've grown. I think that's evidenced by the very existence of this apology and the sincerity of it. I don't think it takes a psychologist to tell that they were genuinely sorry for what they had said. They do joke about furries in later episodes of the podcast, but it all seems to come from a place of understanding. If you get a chance, try listening to some of those clips, because I think they're actually pretty funny. Just a heads up though, there probably will be some mature language in those clips. In hindsight, I find it funny that they said they will never ever be cool with furries, but they sure seem to be now. You know, this review was kinda short. Yeah, I realized that I skipped over a lot of stuff that I would normally address in my reviews, but we had to address the elephant in the room. No pun intended. Why, you! What I left out was mostly nitpicky stuff that you can find in any other episode of Furries in the Media. But just so we're up to par on the stuff we skipped in today's review, a furry is a person who is a fan of anthropomorphic animals, or animals with human characteristics, such as walking upright, talking, or wearing clothes. Furries often create fursonas, or furry personas, to represent themselves. Fursuits are custom-made costumes that are often based on these fursonas, though not all furries have fursuits. Some furries partake in mature activities, others don't. Both are perfectly valid ways to be a furry, and it is wrong to categorize the entire furry fandom one way or the other. There. Now, hopefully we've covered our bases. Before we go, I want to commend the listeners who stood up and said something and pointed the McElroy brothers towards the proper resources for them to learn more about furries. Lastly, I want to thank the McElroy brothers for hearing what their listeners had to say, apologizing, and just doing better. As a furry, that's all I could ever ask for. Thank you, my brother, and me. Well, that's it for today's episode of Furries in the Media. Have fun, stay awesome, bye-bye.